Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of E-commerce marketing chats with myself, Charles, and Jimmy. Jimmy, how's it going, mate? What's been happening your side?
Oh, mate, it's good to be back. Sorry about last week. Sometimes when you've got three kids and life's happening, unfortunately, sometimes I can't make these calls. Yeah, good to be back in the swing of things, talking all things e-commerce. Fresh off, as you know, the Noosa event that I attended for e-commerce 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think we had a chat about that on our last call. So yeah, this week it's a lot of AI conversations again. Yeah, that just seems to be the topic on everyone's mind. And really because we're getting to a level now where you can implement some pretty amazing things and it's just requiring kind of you still overseeing it. And I think the community that I'm a part of in there too, it's very much, hey, let AI do 80% of the grunt work, but you still need like 20% human touch on here. Even rebuilding my own website at the moment, I probably could have got 80% of the way there in probably 2 or 3 hours. It's the cleaning up the last 20% that's taken me like 2 or 3 weeks. So I think you can get the 80% done pretty quickly with anything. It's the fine tuning and getting exactly how you want or how you need it to be. And that's the nuances. But yeah, this week in AI, I've seen like a lot of SEO audits for sites. People are asking, different ways they can integrate AI into Google Ads, and like it's not coming anymore. It's here. It's here, and the people that aren't using it, they're not going to get left behind. They'll still have a business, but they're going to be at a severe disadvantage when they're trying to compete with people that are using it. I saw a really interesting poll a couple of weeks ago. It was on LinkedIn, and the question was, hey, who's actually got more time now that they're using AI? And I thought it was really interesting because most of the responses were like, no, I'm just as busy as ever. And I think one of my mentors said to me, because I said the same thing. I'm like, I'm doing what I would do in 2 months, in 2 weeks, but I'm not freeing up my time. I'm just doing a lot more in that time. And my mentor said to me, it's like, Jimmy, because you're not safeguarding your time. It's like you're able to do a lot more. So you're just filling the time that you would have saved with doing more work. And it's completely true. I think it's something that a lot of people should be aware of. We're on this mission to save ourselves time with AI and improve our lifestyles, spend more time with our family and friends and do what we want to do. But in reality, what I'm actually seeing is everyone's just doing more and they're just more busy than ever. So it's having the opposite. So people that are going down this rabbit hole, I would just say, be aware of be aware of that and what's happening and make sure you do safeguard your time. So you're not just doing more and more and more with these amazing advancements that's coming. And when the initial goal was, hey, I want to implement AI into my business so I can get my time back. I don't know how you feel about that, Charles, and that kind of poll. Whether you're finding the same thing with AI, you're not actually getting your time back. You're just doing a hell of a lot more with the time that you do have.
Yeah, a little bit of that. I must admit, I'm actually recently I've been a little bit more conscious of, when I'm, for example, doing client work. Typically, I'll do client work from kind of Tuesdays to Thursdays, and then Monday and Friday is more for kind of working on the business rather than in the business. But yeah, I think the problem is we have this worry that like everyone else is doing that much more. So we need to do that, especially, for example, with kind of SEO or ranking or showing up for AI searches. It's player versus player. You are competing with other brands, and if they're doing and putting out more output, then naturally you're going to be like, okay, we need to do more as well. So yeah, you're 100% right though. The whole point of AI is to kind of help build systems to bring back your time if you want to do that. But it seems like a lot of marketers in particular, and probably business owners, we're using that time up. We're just with more stuff. So one thing I would say, Jimmy, you talked about like how AI can get you 80% there, and then the last 20% takes, the longest time to refine. One thing I've noticed recently is just I'll give you a couple of examples where the the output is really impacting the quality. So one example is from our podcast, whereby we're getting at the moment a fair few requests come in to be a guest on this podcast, right? And I'm looking through the content of these emails, and they're almost verbatim, word for word, the same, with slight changes in terms of the person's name or the industry. And often they don't even relate to, like, obviously we run an e-commerce marketing podcast, so we're not going to even look at bringing on someone who is, a specialist working for B2B companies. So there's just complete, non-alignment in the fact that, one, the content is AI. It's AI, is exactly the same. It's like I can read 5 different emails and they basically use the same copy. It's like, okay, we're using the same, AI platform to write the copy, which is giving them pretty much the same type of copy. And that's, inevitably that just goes straight in. They either get a response from me which is, no, we're not interested, or it goes straight in my junk folder. And another,
I'm glad you handle all that stuff.
yeah, well, and then another example is from actually a recent client of mine who I'm kind of helping them oversee some of the blog strategy, but they are responsible for kind of writing the content, uploading the content, and they want to do more volume, which I think is absolutely fine as long as the quality's there, and it has been. Where the downfall is where they're skipping on the final design and UX of the blog. So they're putting the blogs out there, they're taking, I saw the other day they're taking the copy from a Google Doc, uploading it, and not checking that there's certain things in that Google Doc that shouldn't be on the actual live blog. So just, it's minor details, but it makes a big difference. If it's just like the copy dumped onto a page to try and get it live and the format of the blog doesn't look good, we can get these things fixed. And I obviously mentioned to them when we've got this, we're getting these things resolved. But, I just think of the amount of brands that are probably doing the same without the guidance of someone like myself to say, look, we need to get this fixed because this makes a difference. And I think, there's a danger that people are going to get lazy in this kind of AI world that we're now in. It's the ones that use AI and then they put the refinement on at the end, and they do the quality checks to make sure that, this strategy is going to work. It's not just, okay, I can write an email using AI, but great, is it actually going to convert into any sales at the end of the day? So.
Yeah, I think one of the other conversations I've been having a little bit recently too. It's business owners looking at other businesses, and like the grass always seems greener in someone else's e-commerce store. And I'll give you a really good example. So one person that I was having this conversation with has probably about 3,000 products in their store, and after chatting with some other e-commerce owners that were doing quite well, those e-commerce owners were in kind of the drop shipping world and had like maybe 2 or 3 products. And they're like, the person with all these SKUs is like, I'm spending so much time on all these SKUs. Maybe I should just be doing what these guys are doing and finding one product and focusing on that. And they're looking at it from they're looking at it from the grass is always greener lens. What they're not looking at it from is, hey, they've built a moat around their business because they've got so many products and variations. Whereas they don't realize when they go into that drop shipping world, those businesses are very fragile, and they don't have a moat around them. A lot of them. Once a product starts doing really well, it gets picked up very quickly, especially if it's in a drop shipping network. And all of a sudden, you've got 20 competitors selling the exact same product as you, and it's a race to the bottom on price. And then all of a sudden, you've almost got your exact product on Amazon for basically just a tiny bit more than what you can actually source it for. And that's where kind of businesses can go to die on margins very quickly because they don't have anything unique. They don't have that unique selling point. It's literally the product from a drop shipping kind of service. But then you have other business owners looking at those drop shippers think, oh, it's so easy for them. They only got like 1 or 2 products that they have to focus on. But then the drop shippers are like, I really just want to build a business that has a moat around it that I can continue to grow without having to constantly worry that, someone's going to take my products and, just duplicate my whole store, and it's quite easy to find the suppliers. Like the barrier to entry is quite low. So I, for the e-commerce business owners listening to this, I would say, like, don't compare yourself to other people, because and I've coached a lot of e-commerce stores now. They've all got their own individual problems. And sometimes when you're looking at the upside of things in people's businesses, once you see the whole picture, you realize actually that's a lot more risk that I'm willing to take on. Or, hey, I didn't even consider that. I prefer to stay in the model that I have, because that's what's been working. I think it gets to the point sometimes where growth starts getting hard for people, and that's when they start second guessing themselves, because it's not easy anymore. You have to put in a lot of work, and there's a lot of different channels and a lot of things that you can do. Sometimes it gets overwhelming, and then people's minds start going to, hey, maybe it would just be easier if I just did this person's business model. But then they get stuck into the same thing. There's hard parts of other people's business models too, and you've got to train your brain when it starts to get hard, that, hey, I know this is hard, but I need to work it out, because this is the part where people get to and they give up, or that they get distracted. So yeah, it's been a conversation I've had with kind of a few business owners lately about the grass being greener on the other side, and constantly comparing to how other businesses are run. And yeah, it's I just say, it sounds cliche, but just focus on one thing at a time. Like, what's the primary thing that you can move right now that's going to have a big impact in your business? Because I think AI is a shiny object for a lot of people, but there's a handful of people that I could say have taken the shiny object of AI and actually made, like, pretty sizable impacts on their business, because people are just using it in the wrong way. For example, on the blog post, the blog post is a good one. So I taught someone my whole blog system, my whole blog process, and they went out and built a skill in Claude that basically now automates a blog post a week for them. They're really good blogs. They're formatted really well. I think that's a fantastic way to use AI. He's checking over them too. I've had a look at them too. I'm like, these blogs are great. I need you to teach me your system, because I need to integrate this into some of my clients. Like, if you were never going to write a blog anyway, and all of a sudden you've got a system where you can write one a week, and it's high quality, and it's formatted well, and it looks good, and it's adding to the brand, that's like a perfect example of where you should be using AI. Like, it's producing you content every week that is, like, through the system that you built, has done the keyword research, built an article that's actually has a chance to actually rank in Google and drive you some more traffic. So it's kind of a good example of where AI can be beneficial. And once you've set it up, you've got it running on the background and a new blog every week. Because I think we discussed it a couple of weeks ago, Charles. I mean, how many e-commerce stores have you been to? And you scroll down to the blog, and the last blog was written in 2023. Like,
Yeah,
3 or 4 years ago. So it just makes the brand look stale. So just little things like that to use AI for can be really beneficial.
yeah, absolutely. And I think when it comes to blogs as well, we're talking about blogs. Yeah, really, the aim shouldn't necessarily just be about driving traffic to those blogs, but it's an internal linking opportunity to link to your collection and products within those blogs, which helps those money pages rank higher as well. That's really the main advantage is, yes, it can drive kind of top of the funnel traffic to your site, or visibility now, because actually, in some cases now, the click-through rates to blogs have reduced if they're being shown on, AI overviews, etc. But yeah, it's that internal linking opportunity. The more links, it's not just about backlinks to your site, but it's also internal linking as well, which can make a big difference, and get those pages that aren't seeing as much authority to them ranking higher as well.
Absolutely. I've noticed, it's funny because I've noticed AI doing that naturally while I'm building my own website. For example, I built out a service page for OpenAI ads, and down the bottom it's like, not ready for OpenAI ads. Get started here with your Google ads instead, and like links back to like the Google service page. Which I find it like AI is, it's wild. Like, the website that I'm building at the moment, like, if I had have paid someone else to build it before AI was around, it's probably like a 5 to 10K build,
Crazy in
which
that.
you can now you can sit down and do it yourself. I was speaking to someone about this today actually. So for Google Ads, one of the biggest reasons that I moved away from service business Google Ads and into e-commerce is because I didn't e-commerce relied a lot less on the landing page, whereas service business, when you're generating leads, it like the landing page would make or break a campaign. And the landing pages was something that I absolutely hated doing. Like I wasn't a web designer, I wasn't a developer, and then I would see one get developed, and I was like, oh, this and this. I knew what needed to change, but I couldn't build it myself. That's changed now, and I've actually had a couple like my service clients that I do still have. I've actually been able to like generate some really good landing pages for them now, and it's kind of not that I want to take on service again, but it just shows that the part that I hated and was not good at, it wasn't that I wasn't good at it or knew what needed to happen. It's that I couldn't implement it. I can take my knowledge and have it implement it and just talk to it about what needs to happen, and it can change it completely. So I think yeah, the way that you use it is so important, but you also need to know the levers to pull. Like e-commerce, the levers that you need to pull are, especially in paid, so the paid side, the levers that you need to pull are high quality traffic. So the things that people are typing into Google, you need to make sure when your ad is showing that it's actually relevant to what people have searched. The next is the product page. So basically the conversion rate of your website and the checkout process. That is a much bigger kind of element than people realize. And I talk about the supplement company that I deal with a lot, but a good example is like before we got the website redone, the conversion rate was like 3 around-ish. So it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. When we got the website redone, that went from 5.5 to around 6.5%. So in that range. So most business owners would look at it like, hey, how do I need to grow to double my revenue? So if let's say they were spending 10K a month on ads and they're like, okay, I want to double the revenue. So I'm going to spend 20K and see what comes back. Whereas what it really took is you could still just spend the 10K and take the conversion rate from 3 to 6%, and then all of a sudden you've spent the exact same amount, but the revenue's doubled. So there's a few levers that you can pull that aren't just raising your budget. I think especially for e-commerce stores, I would almost focus on raising the budget as the last thing to pull, because if you can double your conversion rate, it's not just your paid traffic that's going to convert higher. If you've got a better converting website, it's like the traffic from organic, the traffic from emails, like the traffic from everywhere is going to convert better. When you double your budget, you're still working off the same kind of conversion rate a lot of the time, and a lot of the time the conversion rate will drop when you significantly increase the budget, because it's not going after and converting the low-hanging fruit. Well, it is converting that, but that low-hanging fruit runs out, so it has to go a little bit broader to kind of look for new conversions. So yeah, there are a lot of different aspects that and levers you can pull in e-commerce. I think one of the things I noticed for dropshippers that a lot of other businesses aren't aware of is their whole business is like completely reliant on ads. Like you turn off the Meta and the Google, the business stops. Whereas when you've got a brand, I've seen good brands still generate a lot of sales and traffic organically. A lot of drop shipping businesses don't have that at the moment, that I've seen anyway. I'm sure if they've been in the market for a long time, it's a little bit different. But
Yeah, I actually
yeah,
work
it's
with
having those levers.
I work with one. You could class them as a drop shipping company. They sell, multiple different brands from different suppliers, but they've been in the market for a long time. 10 plus years. They've built up a big, presence on social media. But they were, before I came on board to do their organic, they were quite reliant on paid as well. But you're right. I think we talked about it in last episode. I think the title of our last podcast was if you turned off your ads, would you have a business still?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think some e-commerce owners wouldn't like to admit it, but if they did, they would be in trouble. And for me, that's not a sustainable business model. You do need to build on social media presence, organic search, whether that's SEO and now moving into AI search as well. But yeah, relying on these ad platforms long term, yes, it's important. I think as part of a marketing mix, it's essential. I think it's certainly, it's definitely worth doing if you can afford to do it. But relying on that as the sole way to grow your business long term, I think, yeah, it's a risky strategy.
Do you know what I wouldn't mind seeing some people try at the moment? Because it's so hot in China, and I don't think it's been heavily adopted in Australia at the moment. But like that social selling, where they get on live feeds and they kind of just sell directly to their customer. I would love to see like some of the clients that I work with just jump on a live and engage with their audience and try to sell over a live video, especially the products that where they're quite visual and yeah, you can have a conversation with your audience. I think, yeah, like what are the companies trying it? There's one, I think it's Whoop or Whatnot. I think Whatnot is it? Some of them are doing a lot of social selling at the moment. TikTok's obviously moving in that trend as well. Another thing I see working really well on TikTok is if you can get a good influencer and you just give them a link with an affiliate code, they'll drive a lot of traffic to your site. And the good thing for them is they get a cut. I think to make that work on TikTok, you either need to have an influencer that's local to your area, or if they are quite a bigger one, you need to be able to ship globally. Like, for example, you want to get an influencer that's promoting this product everywhere, but it only ships in Australia, and the Australian portion of their audience is tiny. So I think that's where Amazon do really well with TikTok, because you can do one link and it kind of opens the Amazon portal in whatever country they're from, so you don't have that much restriction to kind of like global shipping. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting trends coming at the moment, but I think that the social selling is going to be. I don't think like businesses are going to wait, I think, until it's heavily proven. I think it's proven already in China. Like the money that they do on those things are insane. But I'd like to see some more businesses give it a shot.
Yeah, I think it's actually across a lot of Asia, whether it's, a cultural thing. Interesting enough, I just just thinking about it, I went to a while back. I went to my kind of local butchers, and they were basically, I think, doing live, social selling there. So they
What a
they
great
had these,
example. That's
yeah,
awesome.
couple of ladies that were like basically on camera, just like selling their products and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If
Well,
you Sometimes it just takes one person getting creative that can change a whole business.
yeah. So, but no, I think it's certainly a bigger trend in, China was where it kind of started, but I think across kind of Southeast Asia, but it hasn't quite. I don't know. I don't know if it's quite kind of gone mainstream. Certainly across the Western countries. I assume probably America, UK. I don't know, but I do know there was a lot of talk about it. I mean, you heard. I remember hearing Gary Vaynerchuk talk about that quite a lot a while back about how this was kind of social selling's kind of the next major trend. But I don't. I
It's
haven't really
actually
delved
it's
into the
massive
data.
in it's massive in the Pokemon community of all communities. Like
Interesting.
or trading cards in general. Trading cards are massive on social selling and like live breakers and buying breaks and things like that. That industry is like heavily driven on that. So yeah, if you've got a
Interesting.
collectible or some kind of engaging aspect for your business, obviously the engaging aspect when you're collecting cards is opening the pack and seeing if you've got a hit. But yeah, people are buying into those breaks, and yeah, it's a whole industry in itself. It's really fascinating. So if you can think about ways to introduce these type of things into your own business, you should definitely experiment with it. I think I like the businesses that are built on organic social. The one because the customers are so loyal. Like if they're buying from you from organic socially, they trust you, you're building a relationship with your customers. And yeah, if I was to start an e-commerce brand, like everyone thinks, oh, the Google Ads guy, you pick a product that you could sell on Google Ads, which yes, would be great, but I would want one that had a chance to what I call like a moonshot. Like you create one viral bit of content and it just shoots your brand into kind of the stratosphere or gets you a lot of attention and a lot of traffic and build from there. Google Ads is quite hard to do that. Well, it's very hard to have a moonshot on Google Ads. Organic social, you have the opportunity to be seen by millions of people with one good video. So yeah, very very different kind of landscape, I'd say.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think organic social is a great way, certainly a cost-effective way to get started. A lot of e-commerce stores are kind of bootstrapping when they're starting out. It makes total sense, and you could tie that alongside an SEO strategy if it, yes, you're not going to see immediate results with a kind of brand new domain, but I think organic social tied in with organic search, they feed in nicely because if you go viral on social media, people are going to start searching your brand on whether it's on Google, ChatGPT. So these things feed
I
into
just
each other.
even my own. I look at my own buying habits when I look at e-commerce, and I think the last like couple of purchases that I made have been all from people that I've followed on social and wanted to support from their organic content. I'm just looking at. You might not be able to see this in the camera, but Visionary. It's kind of a supplement for eye health, for long screen time, and it's got some caffeine, makes you more alert during the workday. Like the product's great, and the guy that runs it is just like building his whole business in public on social media. And it's like, this is great. I'm going to get behind it. And obviously, I have a lot of screen time with what I do, so it just made sense to try it out. Product taste. It sounds like this is a pitch for Visionary, but it's not. But the product is great. But the message is like I bought that product because of organic social. If he hadn't created content, I never would have bought it from an ad. So yeah, so yeah, if you want a moonshot, be thinking about those creative ways for organic social. But yeah, I think the kind of the main messages for our call today, Charles, is have a look at the levers that you can control. Don't get too distracted by other people's businesses, with the grass always being greener, and find ways that you can leverage AI that's actually going to have an impact on your business, drive you more traffic, or help you kind of continue to grow. And if you need support on that too, you can always jump in our Facebook group, which hasn't been posted in a little while, but it is Shopify Marketing Secrets on Facebook. But well, yeah, feel free to continue to follow us on all podcasting platforms at e-commerce marketing chats and e-commerce marketing chats on YouTube as well. You can find us too. So I'm always happy to take recommendations. If there's a topic that you guys want us to cover, let us know. And these podcasts are me and Charles just chatting every week about what's happening in our own lives in e-commerce. So we're more than happy to explore some different topics that interest you guys too, and that you can get value from. And yeah, I think we've hit the 30-minute mark, so we'll wrap it up there, Charles, unless there's anything additional you wanted to add, Charles.
No, I think we're all good, Jimmy.
Perfect. We'll catch you guys next week. All the best, guys. Take care.